Psalm 83 is Asaph's last psalm. In the Septuagint and Aramaic version, it begins, God, who is like unto you? You have something to do. You will not sit idly by and remain silent. The situation is dire. You need God to do something. But God has something for you to do also. God has been looking for collaboration ever since he put Adam in charge of the garden. Collaboration. You can't pray to God for a miracle. Say you need a job. You can't pray to God for a job and then sit back at home watching television all day and expect for God to just pull rabbits out of hats. That's not how life works, not even life with God. It takes collaboration. There's something that only God can do, but there are some things that we have to do. And God does not expect you to do the things that he will do, but he does expect you to do what you can do. So here's the setting of the psalm. The nations surrounding Israel have formed an aggressive alliance. Have you ever felt like you're surrounded? Problems here and bills piling up there and trouble at home and your business is struggling and there's one issue after another. Well, this is like that, except it's at a national level. The historical context found in 2 Chronicles chapter 20 reveals that the enemy has formed a coalition to bring war against King Jehoshaphat. And the king proclaims a fast for Judah. And from all over the land, people come together to seek help from the Lord. And Jehoshaphat prays, Lord, we do not know what to do, but our eyes are upon you. That's what you need to pray whenever you find yourself in a tight spot. And the Spirit of the Lord came upon the sons of Asaph, the fellow that wrote this psalm. The Spirit of the Lord came upon his sons, and they proclaimed, Do not be afraid or discouraged because of the vast army, for the battle is not yours, but God's. You'll not have to fight this battle. Take up your positions, stand firm, and see the deliverance the Lord will give you. Do not be afraid. Go out to face them tomorrow, and the Lord will be with you. You see, even though the battle is the Lord's, there's still something for us to do. Then the worship leaders praised God with a very great voice, and this is not the time for things to remain quiet. When you're getting into a battle, that's not the time for you to go all hush now and pray your little bless me Jesus kinds of prayers. This is the time to start raising your voice and cry out to God and worship God with a great voice. And the next morning, Jehoshaphat's army heads out to the battle with the worshippers in front singing, Give thanks to the Lord, his love endures forever. That's a battle song. Give thanks to the Lord, his love endures forever. And as they began to worship, the Lord sent confusion into the enemy camp, and they started fighting one another. And by the time the men of Judah arrived, the bodies of the enemies, the warriors, were strewn all over the desert. It took 3 days for Judah to carry home all of the plunder that they found out there in the desert. When the battle is the Lord's, it's not time to get euphoric and do nothing. There's something that must be done. We must worship. You may not know how you should worship or what to sing or how to raise your voice in a worship, in a kind of a warring kind of manner, but all you need to do is to say, Give thanks to the Lord, his love endures forever, and worship him, and God gets in on the act. and gets involved in your war and in your battle and in your tough times, and he starts to work on your behalf, and you do what you can do, and God will do what he can do. He will do what you can't do. But what you can do is worship. And so worship is always an act of faith. Faith comes from the will to believe. We must have a willingness to believe. I must deliberately step out, eyes on the Lord. I don't focus on the opposition. I don't focus on how great the army is that's poised against me. Eyes on the Lord. The size of the opposition is only there to cause us to seek God in worship. The bigger the enemy, the more I must exercise my will to believe. The forces around me are urging me to take my eyes off of God and to look how big and how great they are and to tremble in fear. So in my heart of hearts, I will my eyes towards heaven. I will to believe, and I start to worship God. Everyone has been created with the ability to reach beyond their own grasp. You have been created with the ability to reach beyond yourself and do the impossible. And the way that we do that is through worship. Worship is the expression of your willingness and determination to reach beyond yourself and grasp hold, now get this, and grasp hold of the hand of God. That's what we do when we worship. We reach beyond ourselves and grasp a hold of the hand of God. That's how you get things happening in your favor. By worshiping the Lord. Not by trying to make things happen yourself, but by worshiping God. Get God in on your life and get God in on your troubles and your trials and worship him, and you'll see him turn things around. Things that you could never turn around, he'll turn around. God bless you. Tomorrow we'll check in on a little bit more of God's wonderful wisdom for our lives. Remember, wisdom is the answer to everything.